the GPS.
Turn left onto Point Street. Turn left onto Meriden Avenue, then turn right onto Union Lake Road. At the next stop sign, turn right. At the stop sign, turn right onto Union Lake Road. In about 2 miles, turn right onto Richardson Road.
Assistance of what about? No, join a conference. If you're going to sit there out in the wilderness, then you're going to get treated like someone who's out there in the wilderness. We could talk about Notre Dame, mix them into this conversation.
At the next light,
we got
turn right.
Slam coming up at 7:25. It's Costa and Jansen with Heather, 97.1.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Sports headlines from the Planet Fitness Studio. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
Brought to you by Twin Peaks. Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown and his brother with a little NFL news. They brought Bears quarterback Justin Fields onto their podcast and wanted to solve the mystery of why he unfollowed the
At the
Bears ahead of the
light, turn
draft,
right onto
but they'll have
Richardson
the
Road.
#1 pick.
Then turn left onto Martin Road.
And turn blinker on with your brain.
Like, why you unfollow the Bears?
Like, I still mess with the Bears. I'm just trying to take a little break. I unfollow the Bears and the NFL, bro. I'm not just trying to have football on my timeline. Like, I know y'all mess with a girl. Just because you don't
At the
follow a girl
light,
on
turn
IG,
left
don't
onto
mean
Martin
you don't
Road.
mess with her.
That's true. That's true. That's fact.
Fields says there's nowhere else he'd want to play, but that is not in his control. Former Red Wing Chris Chelios will have his
And
jersey
turn
retired by the
blinker on with your
Blackhawks this
brain.
coming weekend, having played there for nearly a decade before being traded to Detroit. 670 The Score says that Michael Jordan is scheduled to be there for
In half a
among
mile,
others,
at the
and
roundabout,
lifelong
take the
friend of
second
Chi-Town
exit onto
Union,
Martin
number
Road.
7 will be lifted into the rafters at the United Center on Sunday. Several Lions assistants won't be back with the team in 2024, including cornerbacks coach Dre Bly and senior assistant John Fox. They did announce 3 replacements so far: Deshae Townsend, Terrell Williams, and Jim O'Neill. And it's not looking likely that new Piston Quentin Grimes will make his debut tonight for the team in
At the
Indianapolis,
roundabout, take the
as
second
doubtful
exit
for the
onto
game.
Martin Road.
He continues to recover from a knee issue. From the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket at Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Costa and Jansen with Heather on 97.1 The Ticket.
Good morning, 97.1. They're really going to do this. They're going to college basketball the sport of college football. Yep. And what I mean by that is they're going to water down the regular season to the point where meaning has been zapped out of.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin
Right now,
Parkway.
we are in college basketball season. Any life? Any juice?
Well,
Any-
there's no juice here because, I mean, Michigan sucks, and Michigan State is, they're going to be in the tournament, but they're going to be somewhere between a 7 and 9 seed.
but even in general.
Like in
I
general,
just-
no.
In half a mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Martin Parkway.
Conference tourneys. And any one game, it could help you with seeding, but you're going to play your way in or you're not. And you got 68 teams, and the only thing that anybody really cares about is what happens once you make the field of 68.
Yeah.
College football has had a great regular season. They want a better postseason, but I think in expanding to 12 and now the reports to 14, and who knows where it ends, 16, 24, John, they're going to take the balancing act of regular season, postseason, and it's going to swing too far. In reading this, it's commissioners.
At the roundabout, take the
Notre Dame.
second exit onto Martin
Why
Parkway.
does Notre Dame have this seat in all of this, where they have some kind of pull in all of this?
Well, because they're a big brand. And but I mean, what type of pull do they have? They don't even have a seat at the table. Like they have a voice, but it had to be unanimous for them to go to the 5+7 format.
Yeah.
They obviously voted to say it was okay to not have to ever have a 1 through 4 seeding in the college football playoffs because they are not a member of a conference. They will not play in a conference championship game. They can't get a bye. So for them to win a national championship, they're going to have to play 4 games. Now, it's not that much different than if you're playing a conference championship game.
Right.
All right, you win that conference championship game, that's game 1, now you get a bye, Notre Dame plays. It's a shell game, but they're going to be one of those teams that have to either host one or go on the road in the first round of the playoffs to get it done.
Ticket texter. John, really? Notre Dame? Irrelevant? Up until this last year, they had the same amount of college football playoff appearances and the same record, 0-2, that Michigan had for a while. Michigan got in this year and won their first 2 games in a national championship for the first time since '97. U of M and Notre Dame were the same program, all caps, until this past year. Great regular seasons and then disappointing exits in the CFP.
Okay, so since 88, which is that 88 is the last year
Lou
that,
Holtz.
yeah, all right. In 97 we won one, half of one, whatever you want to say. I'll be the first to say. And then all of a sudden now it's 3 in a row trips to the college football playoffs, and you win one. So they've won 2 versus the one that Notre Dame won 36 years ago. I mean, and you're right, it's not that far off, but at least Michigan is winning big games.
Yeah, and the texter could say, well, John, you're doing this conveniently. You're doing it because you can, because Michigan did win the national title and Notre Dame hasn't since 88.
And
Notre Dame had, they would have more cachet and brand, and anything. It's really just, they are what Michigan was and have yet to resurrect.
You look at, okay, what is Marcus Freeman doing there? I love Marcus Freeman. I think he's a tremendous head coach, will be as he continues to grow, and I hope he gets a chance to grow in that role. But is anybody looking at Notre Dame this year?
Starting route to 20040 Woodward Street.
Class. That transfer portal. Boy, they're going to be...
In about 11 miles, take a slight left turn onto West 8 Mile Road.
No, I mean, they don't. Like, and so that until they become relevant again, when was the last time they were relevant?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been the last time they played for a national title.
Right.
But I get you.
But in the near future, it doesn't look like they're going to be relevant, and and you can say, okay, well, is Michigan going to remain relevant? Well, we don't know, and we'll find out what Jerome Moore can do.
The point is they will be more relevant because they are in a Big Ten, which is going to get protected.
Correct.
They're going to get insulated in credibility and protections. Their losses will be minimized because they're in the Big Ten. Where Notre Dame, they're out in the wilderness.
Let me ask you this. In terms of the irrelevance of Notre Dame, who does Notre Dame play that you're going to look at and go, here we go, this is going to be a great game? All right, the one matchup you could say is USC, right, every year. All right, other than that, when you're looking at the matchups that Big Ten opponents have, when you're looking at the matchups that the SEC opponents have, you can get excited about those matchups. Who is going to get excited about anybody that Notre Dame?
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
Would you be excited for Michigan Notre Dame like you would have been 20 years ago? Would you be excited for Michigan State Notre Dame like you would have been 20 years ago?
Now, a couple more ticket texts. This says if they go to 14, then every division winner should be in the playoff or it's dead on arrival. Your 7th or 8th best wildcard team don't belong anyway, JT.
There's no divisions.
Right, Big Ten anyway has gone away from divisions. Says what happens when you have an undefeated team who has locked up the bid to the conference championship going into the final week of the regular season? Do they rest starters? Michigan, Ohio State, with starters sitting out? Question mark.
That's going to be something that's going to get really weird.
That's why I am in favor of moving the game up. Sacrilegious.
Yes, it is.
But you want to keep as much meaning in those games as you can by playing it in the last week.
Starting route to 20040 Woodward Street.
Already been locked up.
In 9.3 miles, make a U-turn at Norborn.
All within a 6-week
But I'm still
span.
going to shake tomorrow.
If you move it a little earlier, in October when the league starts changing, it starts feeling football. Texas, Oklahoma play in the month of October. Alabama, Tennessee, through Saturday in October. Like you can't do it.
Stay in the left 2
I worry
lanes.
about some of the meaning being lost in what is typically one of the biggest games of the college football season. Another one says expanding the playoff will create better bowl games because less players will sit out. One of the positives. But if the result is the rest of the games, weeks 1 through 11 or 12...
Right, it depends on what it is that you're after. Yeah. And we've seen, in terms of just what they're selling the broadcast rights for. There are certain games throughout the course of the year, and most of them will happen in November, whether it's the Iron Bowl, whether it's the game, they're rivalry games. There's matchups. LSU, Alabama is going to be one that always generates some excitement. Nationally, Michigan State will be one that will generate some excitement nationally, but for the most part, the broadcast networks want the college football playoffs.
Let's get to the phones. We got John next up. John, you're on 97.1. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, John. So I'm the one who responded to the text, or I'm the texter that responded to you guys earlier this morning regarding how Notre Dame was irrelevant and how Michigan was basically the same exact program.
Okay.
So to kind of go back off what you were saying as well, I do remember Notre Dame playing for a BCS National Championship in 2012 as well. And I do want to say, all credit to Michigan. You guys had an undefeated season. You guys beat an Alabama team who we all thought was going to beat Michigan in the college football playoff. But to say that Notre Dame was irrelevant the last 20, 30 years, I would say it's completely false. They're a program that is well respected across all of college football, and people want to play them. Regardless if they're in a conference or not, I think to say that they've been irrelevant the last, let's just say 40 years, because we're coming up on that in the next 4 years, is completely false. Because Brady Hoke years at Michigan, I mean, what was done then? Not much.
Well, but what was said, John, to be fair, at the time, people were saying the same thing about Michigan, saying they are a has-been program, once great, no longer great, regionally relevant, not nationally relevant. So can't the same things be said about Notre Dame?
Absolutely. No, I agree. But to say that they're not irrelevant is my thing, and to say that, even looking at the recruiting class, well, Michigan just lost their head coach, and a lot of their coaches, so how are we going to say that Michigan's even going to be relevant?
Well, we're coming off a national championship. I would much rather have that opportunity, and Sherrone Moore can then prove that, he did beat Ohio State. He did beat Penn State, having already been an interim head coach. But let me ask you this, and moving forward, when you look at, and if you're an athletic director at any of the Big Ten or SEC schools, now you're looking at it going, do we want to schedule Notre Dame when we have Oregon, Washington, Ohio State, USC, Michigan, all of these teams already going to be on our schedule and the ability to schedule? Same thing with the SEC. Are we going to want to go out there and schedule a Notre Dame?
I mean, why wouldn't you?
No, I mean, there's going to be fewer.
In my opinion, I would. I don't know why you wouldn't want to. They're a program that historically does well every year, plays a USC, a Clemson, and even this past year, Louisville. But to also stick to the conference championship, we just saw with Florida State, it doesn't matter. Now it does.
It's going to be.
I will say the 12-team playoff does change that aspect of it. But then the other argument too regarding conference championship kind of goes out the door when we look at this past year.
So what was your thoughts or your response when you found out that Notre Dame had absolutely no chance of getting 1 through 4?
I mean, I thought it was ridiculous, in my opinion. Because that's the other argument as well. Now I get with the realignment of all the conferences, but Notre Dame on paper usually at the beginning of the year schedules a USC, a Clemson, a lot of these larger programs, and then it's not their fault later on in the years that these programs either have a down year or don't show up very well. A lot of the stuff that we've kind of looked at, and like I said, yes, I'm a Walmart Notre Dame fan. I will say that. I could name probably 12 people on the team where my brother can name 30. But either way, they try to schedule as competitive of a schedule as they can at the beginning of the year. Yeah. But you can argue too with Michigan. You look at the 6 or 8 games prior to facing Penn State, Ohio State. A lot of those games were all blowouts, and they've talked about it on the radio. I mean, I listen to you guys from 6 until 2:30. It's talked about everywhere for the first 8 games that the Big Ten's a joke, and then you get later on in the season when the games matter, and that's when the games mean anything.
So, John, here the only other point that I'll make, and I trust me. Oh, we lost him. Well,
I dropped it.
Oh, I was going to ask him. I mean, Notre Dame. When was the last time a coach at the Ohio State or Michigan left to go to a better college football program? Because didn't Kelly leave to go to a
LSU.
Better college, or at least a better opportunity that he felt?
To his point, Notre Dame has prided itself on trying to stuff their schedule with good games despite not being in a conference. Does that get harder as the conferences get bigger? They have their own big-time matchups. They don't need Notre Dame as much. I think that is a fair question in this new college football landscape. When you're ready for a new truck, take the easy way to getting the best price. We're talking MoranExpress.com. Search inventory from the top models like the hardworking Silverado. Perfect for hauling whatever you need. And yes, tailgating too. We're talking football. We always talk football. You can prepare to tailgate with MoranExpress.com. Right now you can lease a 2024 Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cab from Moran Chevrolet. Listen to this, only $199 a month. 24-month lease, $999 down, pick up your new truck, or they'll deliver it directly. How easy is that? Moran Chevrolet, where you always get the best price, period. On Gratiot, north of 15 Mile in Clinton Township, Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ 24-hour traffic center, sponsored by Orange Cell Solar. Accident-free for the start of your morning. A reminder to you about the construction southbound Telegraph Road at Chicago. Right lane is scheduled for closure sometime this morning. It's going to go on through your late afternoon. Orange Cell Solar. Better solar, price better. The electric grid is going to let you down sooner or later. Power through solar. Save money each month and never be left in the dark again. Visit orangecellsolar.com for your free quote today. I'm Val Berry with traffic.
The Detroit Pistons play the Indiana Pacers. Pre-game tonight at 6:35 on Alt 98.7.
Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/stream and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 plus and present in Michigan. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
If I would have kept making only the minimum payments on my credit cards, my debt would have taken me 47 years to pay off.
These are real National Debt Relief customers.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out of debt by myself.
Credit card, medical, or personal loan debt? National Debt Relief negotiates with your creditors to reduce what you owe.
National Debt Relief got me out of debt?
You could be debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months. Visit nationaldebtrelief.com to learn more and get started. nationaldebtrelief.com.
Whoa, sweet man cave. Thanks. Serious upgrade.
How'd you pay for all this?
I got a home equity line of credit from Figure. I was approved in 5 minutes and had funding in 5 days.
Wow, that fast and easy?
Yep. The application is
At the next stop
online,
sign,
plus
make a
no
U-turn.
out-of-pocket costs. Just fast access to the cash you need.
How do I get started?
Go to Figure.com and get that serious upgrade. Figure Lending LLC, DBA Figure, Equal Opportunity Lender, NMLS 1717824. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Figure.com for more information. For licensing information, go to www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
At the stop sign, use the left lane to make a U-turn at Norborn.
Downriver's premier Ford dealership. If you're in the market for a new vehicle and you aren't interested in new car prices, why not consider a certified pre-owned vehicle? All of our certified pre-owned vehicles have
Make
been
a
through
U-turn,
thorough,
then
multi-point
turn right
inspection
onto
and
MacArthur
include a
Street.
factory warranty and a Carfax vehicle history report. Stop by our dealership on 4th Street in Southgate to let one of our sales associates help you find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle for you, or visit us online at southgateford.com.
Rediscover the all-new Hollywood Casino at Greektown with that 24/7 energy and all new slots, exciting table games, roulette, blackjack, and don't forget that sports book at Hollywood Casino Greektown. 40 betting kiosks, 25 HDTVs.
Turn right onto MacArthur Street, then turn right onto Fargo
and
Street.
Don't forget the nightlife at Prism, Rock Bar, Urban Cocktail. You got it all. Must be 21 and older. Gambling problem, getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-270-7117.
The Detroit Red Wings host the Colorado Avalanche. Pre-game tonight at 6:45 on 97.1 The Ticket.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Fargo Street, then turn left onto Woodward Street.
Come on now.
Hey, this is great news, I guess. Plans are underway to develop the former Palace of Auburn Hills site. So something is finally going to come of it. Both General Motors and the city have confirmed that plans for a supplier facility
Turn left onto
are
Woodward
moving
Street.
forward.
Then the
So
destination
plans
is on your
include a
right.
715,000 plus square foot industrial building, and it is being constructed for GM, they say, with a total investment of $200 million.
The destination is on your right.
And, they're
20040
things
Woodward Street.
pretty quickly. Construction is scheduled to begin in early May, and they say the facility is scheduled to be operational by early November of 2025. So in about a year, it'll be up
Do
and
something
running.
with the land, yeah.
Exactly. I know. I always drive by it. I'm like,
Yep.
I remember what it used to be.
R.I.P.
Right? I know. An attorney representing James Crumbly is arguing that prosecutors should not be allowed to introduce any evidence about his son's mental health, those journal entries or text messages if his son does not actually testify at this upcoming trial. And it sounds like he is not going to testify. He has already said, I'm not going to. So it sounds like that's out of luck. But the evidence was allowed in his wife's trial. So we obviously know what came of that trial.